Hello all, myself Vedangi and I'm a legal intern at Lexis and Company. So guys, my another topic for today's discussion is the concept of polluter pays principle. So let's begin. So there are basically two sides to every coin. So are the pros and the cons of the industrial revolution. On one hand, the industrial revolution has improved the lives of people in many ways in the 21st century, and on the other hand, unfortunately, the industrial revolution has caused industrial pollution. Technology has developed drastically and manufactured products have replaced the archaic products, and the byproducts are the inevitable part of the manufacturing process. Hence, the principles such as the precautionary principle and the polluter pays principle are constitutional mandates to curb the degradation of the environment. Therefore, it's a no-brainer for a citizen to be aware of the principles of environmental law, and in certain cases, the impacts of the industrial disaster are said to be experienced till date. Now, what is polluter pays principle? So the polluter pay principle essentially holds a polluter liable for the pollution caused to the environment. The polluter is liable for every damage caused to the environment. So according to the polluter pays principle, the polluter has to not only compensate the victims of the pollution but also compensate for the restoration of the environmental degradation caused under 1972 and 1974 OECD recommendation. The measures to be taken by the polluter for controlling the pollution is decided by the public authorities so that the environment is in acceptable state post the industry operation. Therefore, the polluter bears the cost of health hazard cost to the public as well as the cost of restoration of the environment. And in other words, we can say that the cost of measure should reflect on the cost of the goods and the services, the production, the consumption of which led to pollution. The cost of the measures should not be accompanied by the subsidies, as it would lead to distortion in international trade and investment. And the polluter pays principle is part of a set of broader principles to guide sustainable development worldwide. The polluter pay principle forms a part of the environmental law of India. Now, talking about the historical background of this concept, so the World Commission on Environment and Degradation on its report Our Common Future stated that the cost of repairing the environment can be paid by internalization of an enterprise, and herein internalization in economic context means that the polluter bears the cost itself and does not delegate the work to an agent. The report mentioned that the enterprise would be encouraged to invest in taking preventive, restorative and compensatory measures. And the polluter pay principle was first of all introduced by the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development in 1972, and the report also stated that the polluter is responsible for controlling and prevention of the pollution associated with the process of the factory. Pollutants were soon recognized by the World Commission on Environment and Development as a form of waste, and hence dissemination of the pollutants into nature was considered as an inefficiency of industrial production. So the implementation of polluter pays principle was used as a strong economic, administrative and legal tool to restrain the pollution problem. Now, talking about polluter pays principle in the context of India. So in India, the polluter pays principle was for the first time applied and defined in 1996 in the case of Indian Council of Enviro Legal Action versus Union of India. And in this case, Justice Dalveer Bhandari determined that the reversing the imbalance caused to the ecology is the part and parcel of the industrial process, and thus the financial responsibility of taking prevention and controlling measures for the pollution caused should rest upon the industry which caused pollution. The financial burden cannot be shifted to the shoulders of the government, neither in preventing nor in correcting the dent. And the judge in this case also considered that it is easier for men with power and authority to disobey with the judicial pronouncements. Also, in the cases of Research Foundation for Science Technology National Resource Policy versus Union of India and Veller Citizens Welfare Forum versus Union of India, the judges respectively ended up with the conclusion that principles such as precautionary principle and the polluter pays principle, they form an intrinsic part of the laws of the environmental laws of India, and the polluter pays principle was already considered as a part of the customary practices of international laws for the protection of the environment. Also, Article 21 of the Indian Constitution emphasizes on the basic right of every Indian inhabitant, and the basic right mentioned in Article 21 is the right to life and personal liberty. As simple as it can be put, polluting the surroundings of a locality would take away the basic right from the inhabitant. And pollution being the inevitable part of industrialization, community participation for protection of the environment is the duty of every citizen. Hence, the right to community participation for the protection of the environment is considered to flow from Article 21 of our Constitution. So, in India, according to the Section 20 of the NGT Act, the tribunal can apply for the principles of sustainable development and the polluter pays principle and precautionary principle while passing any order, award, or decision for the balanced development without harming the Mother Earth. Now, there are certain flaws in this concept, like vehicular emissions are the largest contributor to the air pollution, we all know, and nearly 2/3 of the deaths in 2015 were due to emission from the exhaust of diesel engines, and the effluents discharged into the water bodies can be treated. The dumping of waste on soil can be minimized as well, but the treatment of polluted air is an unfeasible task, and moreover, when an entire city or entire nation is affected by air pollution, it is even more challenging. And at times, such as in the cities in northern India, where even the annual rainfall is scarce and the cities are landlocked, steps taken by the government are never enough to combat with the air pollution. And air pollution due to vehicular emission clearly exceeds the air pollution due to the industrial emission. Unfortunately, there is no clear mention in the polluter pays principle as to who is to be made liable for the vehicular emission. So what we can conclude from this entire concept is that although there is no statutory mandate on the polluter pays principle, it takes more effort in complying people to the principle rather than mandating it. And the judicial pronouncements on this principle have been clear and undisputable. It was realized that industries are also social units having rights and duties towards their surroundings and community. And the old concept of development hand in hand with ecological balance does not hold good in the 21st century. In fact, the lockdown mandated throughout the world during the coronavirus infection is a rest to nature, and over the years our behavior towards our nature has been so inhumane. Nature has been put to overwork in the last 2 decades, and it's a high time for us to care for the Mother Earth. The principles such as the polluter pays, precautionary principles, sustainable development should be ideally inbuilt in us, and it should be in our subconscious mind that each and every activity that we should do, it should not harm our nature. And little steps towards the nature such as carpooling, riding the cycle to work, avoiding single use of plastic bags can go a long way if taken by every citizen. Many institutions and universities have also started planting trees on the special occasions, and such steps are necessary for sustainable development. Balanced development is also a prerequisite for harmony between nature and us, and these steps should be the habits of every single citizen. So guys, that's all about my discussion on this entire topic. I hope you all liked my video. If you guys have a doubt with regard to this video or to the previous one, then you can comment in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel Let's Lit. We will meet in the next video. Till then, bye.